German Expressionism is considered one of the most important film movements to have existed. Its avant-garde style, clever use of color and figure helped usher in a generation of dark, evocative films that is still felt today. The film Nosferatu, directed by Friedrich Wilhelm Moranu, is perhaps the most classic and widely known purveyor of the German expressionistic style. The film is an adaptation of Bram Stoker's classic novel Dracula, the story following Count Orlok and his reign of terror. Such an influential movie and style certainly has left an impact on cinematic history, and the presence of German Expressionism is still felt to this day. Given that Nosferatu is indeed the greatest example of classic German Expressionism, it seems fitting that only one film be used to analyze the evolution of German Expressionism alongside it. Bram Stoker's Dracula was directed by Francis Ford Coppola and belongs to a period where he began to produce and direct retellings of classic monster movies. The movie brought back public interest in gothic and dark movies, once again popularizing and vindicating the merits of practical filmmaking in comparison with the rise of new digital technologies. I believe it appropriate to examine the evolution of German Expressionism through these two films, not only due to them sharing the same inspiration, but given that each showcases a point in the development and growth of the German expressionistic style. Nosferatu serves as a showcase of the early beginnings of the style, as well as the perfected form of that style in its time. Bram Stoker's Dracula provides an opportunity to see just how German Expressionism has evolved through the years, seeing how techniques have been modified as different technologies and instruments have been innovated, as well as how other styles may have influenced it. German Expressionism is widely known for its rejection of aesthetics, instead seeking to create powerful reactions out of the audience. Color was one of the best tools filmmakers had at that time to create such an effect, employing stark contrasts of color through shadow that created impacting images. This is clear to see in Nosferatu, as most recent releases have each frame in a color tint that reflects just how important the shadows were in filming, adding an aura of darkness around every single corner of its twisted world. Bram Stoker's Dracula had the advantage of being filmed in color, thus it was able to further exalt the contrast in color in addition to the use of shadows and the prominence of bleak, watered-down colors. Both films share an affinity for the use of darkness, muting colors to give frames a gothic, otherworldly glow to them. Where change can be observed lies in the use of stronger colors in the foreground to contrast the muteness of the background in Bram Stoker's Dracula. The ability to be selective with color placement has led the German expressionistic style to use color with more freedom and care, using more than shadows to create stunning imagery. The use of imagery and symbolism has always been key in German Expressionism. Before the advent of sound in movies, filmmakers had to find more visual means to communicate a story in order to not overstuff their films with dialogue cards. The result of this is a style that better communicates through visuals than through conventional language. Nosferatu's world is a classic expressionistic one. The jagged outlines of the world create a hostile atmosphere, especially within Count Orlok's castle, creating the gothic image of a guarded keep of spiders ready to impale any trespassers. In addition to this, the use of symbols of death and purveyors of death are common, all foreboding to Count Orlok's reign of terror over the town. An example of this can be seen during the first meeting between the main character and the Count. The image of a clock with a skeleton over it serves as a symbol of incoming demise, foreshadowing the danger under which the main character is in. All of this creates a powerful atmosphere that is both fantastical and tense in equal measure, the audience clouded in a fearful wonder of the vampire's powers and influence. Unlike Nosferatu, Bram Stoker's Dracula has constant dialogue from his characters. Thus, the use of images is not employed to communicate the story, but to add depth to it. The images and symbols found in Bram Stoker's Dracula are very poetic, showcasing themes of death, salvation, and belief. Even when the story is being told through only visuals, the images and symbols present amplify the powerful Gothic atmosphere, giving it a strangely romantic feel. The film also has several instances where it directly borrows from classic and antiquated German expressionistic films, as a form of recognition to the genre. In terms of symbols, the character of Dracula itself serves as a sort of symbol to unrestrained lust and desire, to pure sin. This is accomplished through the use of hellish red in his color palette, very distinguishable from the other tints of red present in the film. This means that whenever he appears on screen, the image of an evil hell's demon is created, especially once he appears under his true form. In conclusion, both Nosferatu and Bram Stoker's Dracula serve as great examples of the German expressionistic style, as well as being respective milestones for the style's evolution. In Nosferatu, we see that absolute pinnacle of what was possible at the time, and how that served to enhance the many characteristics we've come to expect from the German expressionistic style. Through Bram Stoker's Dracula, we see how a film movement evolves, what it took, what it left, and what it changed. The film shows a deep appreciation of the style, while still recognizing the need to evolve it to fit in with the full potential of its era. In general, it is able to be determined that the German expressionistic style has shown an evolution in the form of adding on top of its basis. Its style has changed and added elements in conjunction with the rise of new technologies and cinematic techniques. This evolution has spread out across the cinematic landscape, where many filmmakers have borrowed from it, but most importantly of all, is that the style persists until this day, and it will do so into the night and beyond.